Welcome back to the Elevate Your Life podcast, you guys. I am so excited for today's episode. This one has been marinating on me for a while. And first of all, I just want to acknowledge you for a hot second and taking the time to pour into yourself, to invest in your mindset, invest in your soul, give you something inspiring for the day. And I'd love to know where we are right now. Are we on a walk? Are we driving? Are we doing laundry? Are we cooking? I'd love to know. Find me on social media at Elevate with Eleana and let me know what we're doing right now together. Um, so today's episode is all about upgrading our vocabulary, and we're going to go over the 5 most commonly used phrases that are keeping you stuck in a victim mentality and you don't even realize it. It's happening so subconsciously, like on autopilot. You don't even realize that by saying these 5 things all the time, how it's giving your power away, how it's keeping you stuck in a victim mentality. And there's a much better, more empowered, authoritative approach. And we're going to go over what to replace them with. So early on, I learned how powerful our language is, and the words that we speak are projecting into our life exactly what we're going to get in return. Number one, it's signaling to others how we want to be treated. And without realizing that we're giving our power away, we're giving power to the other people to have power over us. So we're going to be going through these 5 phrases and learning how to balance that quite a bit. And also, you're going to notice that when we go through these phrases, how much indecision and cloudiness there is to them. There's really no clarity and decisiveness, which is what we want to get to. Because also the words that you speak are signals. It's the frequency. It's like you're tuning a radio, and if you don't have a good signal, you're not really going to get what you want out of life or out of the people you're communicating with or responding to. So we have to tighten up our language, get clear, get decisive so that we can have more clarity and get to the endpoints that we want further. Otherwise, we're just going to keep getting stuck and not realize why we're still stuck, why we're still in the same place we were a year later. And if you're like me, this year is the year of the shift. So we're going to be shifting together and upgrading our language. So words carry energy, okay? Every sentence we speak is igniting our power or giving it away. Most of us never even question the language that we use on a daily basis. And the truth is, much of our language is inherited from our parents, from the environments we grew up in, from the beliefs we absorbed without ever choosing them. Okay, that's why there's certain behaviors and language and phrases that you use. You're like, where did I pick that up from? Maybe it was a TV show. Maybe you're following somebody on social media and you started picking up their language. Maybe it's your boyfriend, your friend, your coworker, okay? People you are around the most, you start to emulate. And so pay attention to sometimes where this language is coming from, or additional phrases that you're picking up, okay, and who it's coming from. Maybe you don't want to absorb it. Maybe you do. And before you know it, you're literally speaking like you're on autopilot. Not that you're a broken record, but you're just repeating phrases that are subconsciously keeping you stuck and keeping you in the very cycle that you're trying to break. But today, we're going to be reeling that back and learning how to undo that. And again, you probably don't even think about it. That's the whole idea, is that we're saying these things all the time without even realizing energetically what is happening every time we say it. So number 1, okay, and if you want to take notes or just take a mental note, you're more than welcome to do that. You're also welcome to come back and revisit this episode to hear some of the replacement phrases instead. Okay, if you're not good at remembering, that's me. I'm one of those people. But the first phrase, okay, phrase number 1, I want to. The phrase I want. You're communicating what you don't have. You're communicating a lack. You're communicating a passive answer that your reality is not enough. There's resistance in your life. There's a lack of acceptance for where you are. And there's also a bit of people pleasing. Okay. I want to go to that thing, but oh my gosh, I really want to do this, but it's very much of a lack, coming from a place of lack, coming from a place of not enough, coming from a place of people pleasing. Because what if you're communicating to something that you really don't want to do and you're saying, I want to, but you're kind of like afraid to make a stand for how you really feel? We're going to be upgrading that. Okay. The I want to, but ends today. And instead, you're going to shift to, I love that. However, I'm in a different season right now. When the tide shifts, I'll let you know. Thank you for thinking of me. Do you feel the difference? There's assertiveness. You gave a clear answer. You acknowledged that the thing that came to you, you actually liked, you would enjoy, but it's just not in your cards right now. You don't have the bandwidth for it. And that's totally okay to acknowledge that, right? There's a big difference, and I love that. However, I'm in a different season right now versus I want to, but do you feel that difference? Okay. And you're acknowledging these things guilt free. That is the whole idea. Okay. When we say that I want to, but you feel a sense of guilt in a way. When you respond with, I'd love to. However, I'm just not in that season right now. When the tides shift, let's reconvene on that. So different. Phrase number 2 that we are getting rid of from our vocabulary. Let me. Let me get back to you on that. Let me finish this first and then I will do what you've asked of me. Let me see about that. Let me. Okay. The word let me, or the phrase let me, instantly gives your power away. And it needs to go, like today. Okay. There's no more let me do this, let me do that for you. Let me figure this out. No. Okay. And this one took me a while to shake because, again, it's so ingrained in our mindset and it just rolls off the tongue like second nature, but it instantly gives your power away the second you say it. And it tells the other person they're in charge unconsciously, not even intentionally. This is all happening like subconsciously. Okay. So the let me phrase also can be reminiscent of when kids are in school and they raise their hand. Can I go to the bathroom? Can I go to the bathroom? And the teacher goes, I don't know. Can you? What the teacher is trying to communicate is that the child is asking permission to do something that they don't need to be asking permission for. And that's the whole idea behind the let them phrase. I'm sorry, the let me phrase is that you're asking permission for something you don't need to be asking permission for, meaning you're giving somebody else the power for approval on something. So a way to shift that is once I finish this, I'll look into that. You're holding on to your power. You're not giving it away. Instead of saying, let me finish this first and then I'll do that, you don't need the other person to let you do anything. You're finishing this first and then you're going to go do that. Okay? I'll get back to you shortly. You don't need to say, let me get back to you shortly. What do you need the other person to have hold you accountable to get back to them? Let me get back. No, I'll get back to you shortly. Authority, assertiveness, confidence. Okay. Another one is between kids and siblings. So I caught myself doing this quite often in the beginning, telling my son, let your sister play with that. Let her have some space. And I realized, oh no, I am unconsciously, subconsciously not realizing what I'm doing and giving the older brother an upper hand in the dynamic here. And instead, I'm going to come from a more authoritative place and say, give her the toy, give her space, a clear demand, a clear request. She's allowed to have that toy. Instead of saying, let her have the toy, she's allowed to have that toy. Give him a clear direction, a clear demand. Let her have the toys, kind of like saying, well, it's still mine and I'm giving it away to her. I don't want to do that. Instead of saying she's allowed to have that toy, oh, that means I have to share. That means this toy is both of ours. You know what I'm saying? These subtle shifts make all the difference. Okay. That's why it's so important for us to go through them. So that was number 2. Number 1 was I want, bye-bye, no more I want. Number two was let me. Mm-mm. We're not giving somebody power over us for permission or approval. Next is number three, I wish. I wish I was able to attend. I wish I was able to do that. I wish we were able to go on a vacation. I wish communicates, especially to the universe and in your radio frequency and the signal that you're tuning into. I wish means you don't have. It's the same thing almost as I want. You are communicating from lack. You're powerless in your current reality. You want something that you don't believe you can obtain, or you're complaining about something without giving a clear solution. I wish you would stop doing the laundry like that. I wish, talking to your spouse, I wish they would do this. I wish they were like that. Well, you're coming from a place of inventing a problem without communicating a solution. So what happens is you're going to be stuck living in that problem without coming up with any real solutions. So instead, you can empower yourself to say, hey, this is something I've recognized. It really rubs me the wrong way. I'd love moving forward for it to be done like this instead. Or I'd love if you would consider being mindful of these behaviors or these actions, having a clear plan of action versus staying stuck in the I wish mode, because that means you're a victim and you're not doing anything to empower yourself to get to a solution to move through that and navigate to the next step. Okay. You don't want to be stuck in it. So another way you could reframe this, oh my gosh, I wish I could go on a vacation like that. Well, if it's not in the cards for you right now or in the near future, you can say, wow, empower yourself, get excited, view something instead of with envy and jealousy and say, you know what, that's possible for me too. Wow, that's going to go on my vision board actually. And you know something, one day we might be able to make that happen if we put the right thought, intention, and, emphasis on it. Maybe in the next, year, 3 years, whatever that looks like, we can make that happen. Opening your mind to possibility instead of closing yourself off and being sorry for the place that you're in your life. It's so easy to do that for any women out there that are stay-at-home moms like myself. And you're like, gosh, I wish I could do that, but I can't. Okay. I wish, but I can't. That is the worst place to be because you're dishonoring the current place that you are. And like me, I was waiting to reinstate my podcast, right? But I just knew that in my current season, I do not have the bandwidth. I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm not going to sit here and cry myself. I wish I could, whatever. It is not in my cards right now. When the tides shift, then I will be able to reinstate. But for now, I'm really soaking up and enjoying this time. For now, we are not going out all the time in the evenings or out on the weekends. You just have to honor the season you're in, whatever that looks like for you, and not guilt yourself and put yourself in this mental box and this mental prison of I wish. And living in the age of social media and seeing everybody's highlight reels and posting their best pictures and all their vacations, but not the actual stuff that goes on behind the scenes, we can get so caught up in the I wish phase. And I want you to start really reframing your mindset on thinking how you're going to process that from the I wish to, wow, I'm so grateful for my life today. I'm so grateful for where I'm at. And you know what? That might be possible for me too. When the tide shifts, we can put our emphasis and our energy into that. But it has to be aligned, And another way, in a more simple term, you could say, instead of the I wish, gosh, that sounds great, or gosh, that sounds really fun. It's just not for me right now, or that doesn't really align with me. And being okay to say no to things, being okay to acknowledge and to be seen for things that you would feel bad about otherwise. You know what I mean? Where you almost don't want to tell people your true response to things because you're afraid of how they might judge you or critique you for the things that you don't like, align, don't align. But that's how you get more of what you want out of life. The more clear and decisive you are, the clearer your signal is to the universe to reflect back to you more of what you want. But if you stay in the muck, in the meh, in the middle, in the messy middle ground, you're going to get more of that. You're not going to get clear and closer to what you want. And so you have to start getting really confident and comfortable speaking the language that gets you closer to the life that you want. Okay. This is how we start living intentionally instead of the one that we inherited. All right. Number 4. This was actually the very first word and phrase that I removed and eliminated from my vocabulary. And it is the infamous I'll try. I'm going to try. I'm trying to see. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to get a hold of you. I'm trying to open this box. There's so many different contexts in which we can use the word try, but the word try, in my opinion, is a very meek word. It has no value. It leaves the back door open for failure. It is a word that you use in place of committing to an answer, committing yay or nay, or just saying, I don't know in the middle. But the word try makes you feel like you're giving your all, makes you feel like you're putting in the effort. But you could also relinquish it and just say, well, I tried. I did try. I tried. You feel like because you quote unquote tried, there was an effort associated, and that's good enough. Well, good enough and committing to one way or the other is very different than putting in a little bit of effort and then pulling back completely. There's often times where I will still use this word in text messaging. You know, I'm trying to figure it out, especially with like babysitters. So I'm trying to work the schedule out or something, for example, like that, you know, and I will pause, delete, and rewrite it and say, I'm still working on it. I'll let you know when I have an answer. More decisive, more concise, clear, authoritative. There's conviction, there's confidence. I'm not waiting on somebody. The word trying, it's you can also feel the difference from being more like backseat passive victim to active, engaged, somebody who's on it, on top of it. There's a big difference, and it all comes down to the subtle things in our language. Okay, this is why I'm dedicating an episode to this. So, trying, like I mentioned a minute ago, it's the fear of fully committing and taking ownership, accountability, responsibility, and accepting. Okay. It's almost like, oh, I tried in my marriage. I tried to be a wife. I tried to be a mom. What do you mean you tried? Okay. Here are some helpful replacements. Instead of I'm going to try, I'm going to give it a shot. You're committing. Okay. Instead of I'm trying to see, I'm looking into it. I'm trying to see versus I'm looking into it. Completely different. Okay. But you're communicating the same thing. Trying my best to I'm giving this my all. Full embodiment. For me, for example, making plans as a mom, you have to get very okay with rescheduling and learning that sometimes when you commit to a plan, the plans have to change. And so this is a great one for mothers. You know, like I'd love to, though I'm going to play by ear depending on how the night goes. Instead of saying, I'm going to try and see how the night goes, say, I'd love to. Depending on how the night goes, let's touch base in the morning. You're just being honest. It is what it is. But you're eliminating the one word that keeps you meek in the middle. Someone saying, I'm trying to get a hold of you. Instead, you could say, I've reached out a few times. Did you see my missed calls or messages? I'm trying to get a hold of you. Like this power struggle, like push and pull, you know? I've reached out a few times. Did you see the messages? Accountability. Oftentimes we don't want to like step on people's toes if we come across too strong. And we as women tend to like dumb ourselves down a bit, but don't do that. Okay. We are not doing that over here. Another one you could say is, for example, like, oh, I'm trying to open this box. You know, this box is really stubborn. I almost have it open. You're just slightly upgrading the vocabulary. I'm trying to open this box. This box is really stubborn. I almost have it open. Do you feel that difference? Do you hear the difference? Last one, number 5, the should and the coulds. So unuseful language. Keeps you in a state of contemplation. I should have done this. I could have done that. She should have done that. What I should have done is this. What you could do is that. It is very unclear language to the universe, and which way you will go is filled with a lot of judgment as well, and doubt and regret. The key here, again, I'm going to keep repeating it, is to speak with clarity and decisiveness, even if the answer is no or you're unsure. Okay. So you should go to the game. You shouldn't be so hard on yourself. You should go out later this month. You could make it happen if you want it. Awful language. And again, not that, you're going to sit there and tell somebody their language is awful, but now that we know better, we're going to do better. And you are going to upgrade your language, and you're going to be that positive influence in somebody else's circle in life and community that goes, oh, wow, they communicate in such a way that you're inspiring them to upgrade their vocabulary as well. So instead, here are some useful replacements. Okay, have you considered going to the game instead of you should go to the game, feeling pressure and guilt? Have you considered giving somebody the option to make the choice for themselves? Have they thought about it? Okay, quit being so hard on yourself instead of you shouldn't be so hard on yourself, which comes across as judging yourself. Okay, quit being so hard on yourself. Just own it. Just own it. Okay. You should go out later this month. Instead, you could say, I'd love to plan a night out later this month. Assertiveness. Okay. And again, instead of feeling pressure, you should do this. That's pressure, shame, guilt, and judgment. Instead, I'd love to plan a night out later this month. Boom. Clear, concise. You could make it happen if you wanted. Passive aggressiveness. Not okay. There's always a time for the things that are important to us. That is open, that is honest, that is authentic. There's always time for the things that are important to us instead of you could make it happen. All right, next. I could try and see, but I'm not sure if I could swing it. I need to confirm a few things on my end before committing. Again, do we feel the difference? I could try and see, but I'm not sure. It's almost like you're setting yourself up for failure. You're giving somebody a false sense of hope when you know on the back end it's really not going to work out, or you don't want it to work out. So you're just letting them know kind of in advance that might not work out. So instead you could say, I don't think this is going to work. I'll look into it and see. Or you could just say, no, I don't want to put myself through that, and just be honest. So again, these 5 small little phrases are so subtle. We use them all the time. And you're going to start to notice now that you're listening to this and I've addressed them and I've identified them, you're going to start to hear them everywhere. You're going to notice when your friend says it, when your coworker says it, when your parents say it, when your spouse says it, and you're going to start to realize, oh, wow, how that makes you feel and the interactions that you're having. You're going to upgrade your vocabulary, and you're going to be more mindful and conscientious to speak with intention, to speak with authority, to speak with confidence, and to not let yourself remain stuck in this mental prison that so many of us live in without realizing. Okay, this is what we're here for. We are evolving from the hypnosis that we were all under and becoming empowered to speak confidently. Whether that means you decline the invitation without guilt, you assert your authority without shyness or being meek about it. So if this resonated with you, I want to know, which one do you use all the time that you're like, damn, I use that all the time and I just realized, wow, that's crazy. For me, I would say it's the I try and the let me. The I try I got rid of a long time ago. It came back a little bit, but the let me was like, oof. You don't realize how much that's keeping you in the victim mentality. So again, let's review it really quick. You have the I want, you have let me, you have I wish, I try, and should and could. Come find me on social media at Elevate with Eleana. DM me which of the 5 phrases you are getting rid of today. Okay, hopefully it's all 5 of them, but you can always start with one at a time. I hope this spoke to you. I am so excited to hear how you're going to be implementing this in your week ahead. And I cannot wait to see you back here next time. Have a great week, everyone. I'm sending you so much love. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a 5-star rating and review. Send it to a friend who you want to upgrade with. And I'll see you right back here next time.